Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Got another weekly recap video for you all as we're sitting about 9 weeks out or so from Nationals. So entering the week, this is a bit of a deload. So last week I hit an all-time gym best on the squat with 775 pounds. And kind of as to be expected, feeling a little bit beat up ending that week. So talking with Bill, we decided to take a bit of a deload, which you'll notice, and this is something that I've noticed in my training, it's always kind of promising, is the deload is still pretty heavy, so we had to start the week sets of 4 with 555 pounds for the safety bar pause squats. Those were very fast, and then the snatch grip RDLs were also lowered substantially down to 425 pounds and sticking with sets of 7. So the deload on this day definitely helped with some like posterior chain fatigue that I had going on. With the split that we've been doing, especially with the pause squats, they really bang up my hamstrings and low back to start the week. So I feel it by the time I get to the end of the week. So it was nice to have kind of this step back to start off the week. And yeah, everything moved quickly. It's a good way to start coming off of a heavy week. Now, heading into bench, I've had a little bit of bicep discomfort. That's the best way I can describe it. It's kind of, if I supinate my hand and hold it out in front of me, it's the part of the bicep that's closest into my chest, but it's where it attaches kind of deep down in, kind of near that pec insertion. I would almost describe it, it's still on my arm, but it's kind of between the bicep and the tricep. And whatever muscle that seems to be, I'm guessing, the top of the bicep there, it bothers me whenever I rotate my arm in. So we had to pivot away from the Swiss bar bench. And here on day 1 of benching, day 2 overall, I switched to close grip bench press. And it didn't bother me too badly. So I was able to hit I can't remember, I think it was 4 sets of 4 it was 4 sets of 5. With 370 pounds. These were supposed to be an RPE 7. And as you can see, I think I nailed that RPE, so that was good. The arm still felt a little bit off, but nothing too bad. And then I moved on and did incline bench with the straight bar as well. And that seemed to bother it just a tad more. I don't know if it was because I was fatigued, though. So I kept it really light at 275 pounds for my sets. But this kind of set me up in a weird position because as the week went on, just at work and in general, I could tell that the bicep was bothering me. So it's been in my head a little bit this week and kind of a pain in the neck just because it's such a small injury. It's not a prime mover to the bench at all, but it certainly has discomfort on the descent of the bench, and it showed up again later in the week. So overall, that's going to be the challenge for the next few weeks here, is working through that little bit of a tweak and seeing if we can get bench where it needs to be. Squats are moving fantastic, the best they ever have, really. Deadlifts are moving pretty well. I would say just pulling 3 times a week is a significant kind of strain on my posterior chain. So by the time I get to heavy deadlifts at the end of the week, I'm certainly fatigued. But it's going to be bench press that we just need to salvage. The good thing is I can tell strength is there. I'm moving weight very fast, but it's just that discomfort of the stabilizing muscle on the descent in that bicep. So moving on to day 3 here, the only thing of note were these tempo deadlifts. So as I have been doing, it's fast pulls up and then 3 count down. nice and light at 385 pounds. You'll notice I went without straps just to kind of get some grip work in. I like how these work my grip because of the tempo on the way down. There's a lot of time under tension holding on to that load. And then also it was light enough that I wasn't worried about that bicep at all during those pulls. Then on to day 4. So this is the heavy day of the week. And as I had mentioned, even on a deload now, these heavy days are still heavy. You know, we're still squatting over 700 pounds on a deload week, which is awesome. You know, to put things in perspective, it was just a couple years ago in 2020, where my last heaviest squat of prep was 700 pounds. And now we're hitting it every week, even on a deload. So it's nice to look back and see that progress. So I threw in a couple warm-ups in here so you all could just see the progression. Working up to a heavy single at 715 pounds. This was 635, arguably as fast as I've ever moved it. So feeling good there. And then 675 is kind of the same situation. 7 plates is starting to feel really routine and not something that I have to really stress getting under at this point. So I will say, having my arms pinned back, so you'll notice I'm wearing my elbow sleeves a little bit lower because the elbow sleeve kind of pinching my bicep on my right side it doesn't bother me, but it kind of reminds me that bicep issue is there. And sometimes even whenever I'm getting under the bar to squat, it kind of just has a pinch. It's not really a pain or anything, but it reminds me that bicep is slightly off. So even on squat, I've got that reminder, and I would love to know where I strained that bicep. I don't know if it was benching or maybe if it was squatting, pinning my shoulders back. I'm not sure, but either way, squatting's feeling really comfortable. And then rounding things out with 715 pounds, this would be about 325 kilograms. And if I'm thinking, this was nearly my opener at, let's see, at the North American Championships in the Cayman Islands. And if I remember correctly, it's 7 pounds off my opener. And this definitely moved faster than an opener. So we can say we're getting stronger. That is a good sign. So if we can kind of work past some of these little nagging things in the next few weeks, we'll be set up in a good spot. So you can tell I still like to have fun with these sessions. Even on a deload, kind of, I would make sure that you can center yourself and you still want to take them seriously, even though they are a deload. Because, you know, as I mentioned, some people will go into a deload and you're like, oh, it's a week off. But no, when you're getting to these weights, you know, 700 pounds can still hurt you. You can get injuries when it is not supposed to be that hard. So you still have to take it seriously. And with that, solid rep. Now, I do have to throw in, so I started warming up for bench, and I hit something like 325, and my bicep was just not having it. It was sore, the weight was moving really fast, but it's on the descent that it's uncomfortable. So I went ahead and just shut down bench for the day. Bill had recommended that in his email to me the prior week. You know, if the bicep feels off, shut it down. So that's exactly what I did. And then here are my final deadlifts. I have 4 sets of 1 at 625. As you saw, super fast, so happy with that. So thank you all for watching. As always, we're 9 weeks out, so things are kind of coming to a head here. Hopefully they'll get heavier. I appreciate it, as always. And until next time, happy lifting.